Welcome, everybody, from the BIg Vito Brand. It is Virtue here with Virtue's brand of wrestling. And I believe we are on number 18. I got my movie of the week ready to go. And as you can see, before I talk about wrestling, UXWA, I have an indie show if you live near Cleveland this Saturday, September 15th. Seriously, folks, come check us out. Get a hold of me on Twitter at NoDQ_Virtue, on my Facebook, nodq.com/virtue with the small v. I will give you directions. Again, it's this Saturday in Cleveland at 7 p.m. Doors at 6. Pre-sale tickets are $10, 15 at the door. I will give you the address, show you the flyer, all that goodie. We will be there signing autographs, selling merch, whatever it is you want to come and do. Check us out this Saturday. It's going to be in my army. I manage Virtue's Army. We will be there against Razor Sharp and Club Extreme. You don't want to miss it, folks, because when my army wins, Razor Sharp is gone forever from UXWA. If they win, then at the next event, Razor Sharp gets me in the ring for 5 minutes. You're not going to want to miss this. Again, UXWA Maximum Effort, Cleveland, Ohio, this Saturday, September 15th, 7 p.m., doors at 6. All right, so before I'm going to do my movie of the week, at the end, as the main event, I'm sitting here before you on a Sunday evening, knowing, when this gets posted, I'm sure it'll be Monday, that I got 3 hours of wrestling to watch on Monday, 2 more on Tuesday for SmackDown. I don't even watch NXT until closer to the TakeOver events. I don't watch Impact. I'm just wrestling out after WWE's 2 big shows of the week. Obviously, I got to prepare for this indie show coming up Saturday. It's a lot on the line for my team, for me, And so all of this wrestling, and I sit here and I contribute to NoDQ.com. Shout out to you, Aaron Rift. I contribute to WrestlingWithWrestling.com. Shout out to you, Andre Corbeil. And of course, none other than BigVito.com and the BIg Vito Brand. Shout out to you, Noel and BIg Vito. I sit here, finally the cough is starting to go away. The ear infection's gone. And what I hate about those things is they usually drain into, you get congested after an ear and sinus infection. It goes away up here, and then it comes, you get it down here. But I'm doing okay. I'm getting better, drinking plenty of fluids. Oh, I just got blurry there for a minute. Oh, see my Denver Broncos hat? They are 1-0. They beat the Seattle Seahawks in week 1. I'm in 4 fantasy football leagues. Usually week 1, I suck. I'll win 1 out of 4 leagues. Right now, as I speak, I could win 3 out of the 4 leagues based on projections for the Monday night games. I could very well win all 4 of them. I could lose all 4 of them. So I bet you I go 2-2. I win 2 leagues, lose 2 leagues. But nonetheless, as I was saying, WWE standpoint, I just don't know what I want to talk about. And instead of staying off camera and coming up with an idea of a great topic and then coming on here I'm, let's do this, let's talk. I wanted to bring me on here undecided of what to talk about because there's just so much going on in wrestling. And is any of it really great? I mean, I have always supported independent wrestling. Obviously, All In, it was independent wrestling with 11,000 people there. We talked about that. You know the deal. But when I sit here and I think of WWE, I don't know what to talk about. They have Hell in a Cell coming up this weekend, and I can do previews and predictions. But I only really like to do that when it's a big event like SummerSlam, Royal Rumble, Mania. You get the deal. But after that, they have the Super Showdown in Australia, and they're already promoting it. And they've already given Sheamus and Cesaro a tag team title shot, SmackDown tag team title shot against the Usos at the Super Showdown. But they're competing in a tournament to determine who faces them, I think, at Hell in a Cell. So we'll probably get that result Tuesday night on SmackDown. How convoluted is that? And above all of it, they're promoting Evolution, the first ever female pay-per-view in WWE. And that's at the end of October. It's just too much going on. Maybe because WWE has the network and the big social media platforms, 30,000 plus YouTube subscribers, 20 plus thousand Twitter followers, 50,000 Facebook likes. It's just the way to get it all out there. But I think you should focus on one event at a time. Hype that up. Get the fans invested. I know that they're not selling $30, $40, $50 pay-per-views anymore. I know it's just a basic network subscription for $9.99 a month, plus tax, by the way. But it doesn't mean they should confuse fans of all of these events. It's like they're going to have Triple H on Raw, cutting this promo for against The Undertaker for Super Showdown, but that all happens after Hell in a Cell. So it's like, is Hell in a Cell supposed to be important? And let's rant. Like, I don't really want to do preview prediction, so I'm not going over all the matches. There's 2 title matches, big title matches. Of course, the Universal Championship match, Roman Reigns defending against Braun Strowman in the cage. I get that. Main event, they're pushing Braun as a heel. They're going full force with it. All right. That's one of your Hell in a Cell matches. Interesting on their promo poster, by the way. Both Roman and Strowman looking like devils. Roman a devil? Wow. The other cage match, though, it's not the WWF Championship match. AJ and Joe are not going to be in the cage. How shitty is that? You're putting Jeff Hardy and Randy Orton in the cage. Okay, I get it. Jeff's never technically been in a Hell in a Cell, so now you want to have him have this match so he can get some more career highlights. And, of course, it's a personal, emotional feud the way they've been doing it with Orton and Jeff Hardy. But, I mean, all Randy did was put his finger through Jeff Hardy's gauge in his ear, gauge hole. To me, this should not have been the second Hell in a Cell match. Hardy and Orton could have a very good match to progress this feud without the Cell. The fact that you have the Universal title in the Cell, the WWE title, I might have said F earlier, AJ and Joe not in the Cell. Talk about crapping on the WWE title and AJ Styles, he's been getting the CM Punk treatment, mid-carding with that title, doesn't even get a cage, but yet Roman and the Universal Championship does. And they throw Jeff and Randy in the cage. So I think because it's in the cage, Jeff's going to do one too many stupid things. Randy's going to go over Jeff. That's going to be my prediction on that match. Again, I'm not going to do the whole show, just these few matches. And then, of course, I'm going to go Roman somehow will retain the Universal Championship. And I think it's going to take the Shield to help him out. But Braun will probably get pinned under a bunch of stuff somehow, like one of the top panels will fall down. It'll be some way to protect Braun as a monster. But I think Roman's going to retain. And I'm not sure with AJ and Joe, it's crazy because AJ's building a long run. It's over 300 days now, but he's on the cover of the upcoming WWE 2K19 game. And usually since he's the champ and he's on the cover, I can see WWE keeping the title on him longer, but how can you protect Joe? So I'm going to finally say, I'm going to reach here. Maybe it's not a reach. Joe will become the WWE champion. And even if he only holds it for, like a lame duck or a transitional, he's going to beat AJ. AJ's streak's going to end. Everybody that's, talking about How many days AJ was the WWE champion? That's going to end at however many days it is up until Hell in a Cell. But I'm calling Samoa Joe beating AJ for the title. One other interesting note for the pay-per-view or whatever network event. So if Evolution's coming up at the end of October and it's all about treating the women like the men, the evolution, the revolution, then why aren't the women Bliss versus Rousey and Becky versus Charlotte? I believe those are the matches. Why are neither one of them in the cell? To make so that's even worse than AJ and Joe not being in the cell. The fact that at least not one women's match is in the cell. If anything, they should have kept everything out of the cell. If you're going to put Roman and Braun in there for the Universal title, and then maybe have Becky versus Charlotte in there for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Then you have a one women's match in the cell and one men's match, and then all the other matches are regular. Oh, but no. WWE doesn't make logic. Okay, whatever. See, a lot of people think I'm a WWE apologist. I put over when they have a stock of $85+ when they get sellout stadium events in Saudi Arabia and Australia, when they're nearing 2 million network subscribers. I bet you Vince McMahon wishes it was 200 million. I put that stuff over because they're doing all of that despite shitty creative and sending wrestlers out there with handcuffs on and scripts where it comes across not the best. But I support those talents, and I want to see them succeed. And I would like to see them being given the creative freedom like Austin and The Rock and all those people had. But WWE just doesn't seem like they quite want to do that. But nonetheless, I don't even know what to think. I'm not really even excited for this Evolution pay-per-view. Nothing against the women, but I think they're promoting it way too early. And the fact that we have Hell in a Cell, Super Showdown, which are both network specials. I want to keep saying pay-per-view. I just can't get into the third pay-per-view down the road that they're promoting now. So that's my biggest rant. WWE, chill. Take a chill pill. Promote one show at a time. This might be the core problem for Raw and SmackDown. They're promoting 3 network specials ahead while they don't even properly promote Raw and SmackDown each week, leading hooks for, tune into Raw next week, tune into SmackDown next week. That's part of the problem. They need writers to know how to hook. There's this new show. I might get the Showtime app because I watched the debut episode. I think it's on YouTube. It's cut down a little bit. It's called Kidding, Kidding. And one Jim Carrey, who's really been outcast from Hollywood lately, he's been doing some very interesting things that are exciting me. Everybody, if you haven't seen it on Netflix, the Andy Kaufman documentary of how he got into character method acting to do Man on the Moon, that was one hell of a documentary. And that was like last year. Then we know, if you're a Jim Carrey fan, he got cast to be Dr. Eggman in an upcoming Sonic the Hedgehog movie where I think it's going to have people in it with the Sonic the Hedgehog characters as CGI. So it's going to be actually Jim Carrey playing the villain. I don't know if you watch those Smurf movies, like the first couple Smurf movies where it was the real world with little digital Smurfs in there. But this Kidding is absolutely phenomenal. I only watched one episode, and I hope they can tell the whole story. I hope it doesn't get canceled. I hope it does well. It looks like the critics gave it about 65 to 70% on the Metacritic and the Rotten Tomatoes, but the users, like, people are already raving about wanting to see it. Like, Jim Carrey's back. This is going to be great. He's playing this cool character. And what it reminds me of, he's Mr. Pickles. He does a kid's show, like a kid's television show. He kind of reminds me of, he's taken bits of Andy Kaufman. He's taken bits of Robin Williams, like from Mrs. Doubtfire, from what's that one? Robin Williams did a movie where he was Rudolph Rainbow or something like that. And that was a really funny movie. I got to remember the name of it, but you probably know what I'm talking about. But he's taken a little bit of Robin Williams, and then of course he's taken in their memory, given it the Jim Carrey twist. And to me, this Mr. Pickles character is a little bit of all of them, and I think that's why it's so appealing to me, because I love Kaufman, loved Robin Williams, and of course Jim Carrey. So if you don't have the Showtime app, well, go on YouTube. The trailers are on there. Again, you can watch the first episode, 33 minutes, even though it's edited and the swear words and all that stuff are taken out. But the whole concept of that show, that pilot show, this might be a very good series. And it looks like it can only play out for a few seasons. But, man, Jim Carrey might just be back, folks. He does like to do the serious roles from time to time. He did Man on the Moon. He did Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind or something like that. He does have some cool serious roles that he's done. To an extent, The Truman Show, and he's won Golden Globes doing that. So I had to put that over because, like I said, I didn't have too much about WWE I wanted to talk about this week, other than just that little bit of Hell in a Cell and them over-promoting. One Aaron Rift on NoDQ.com, by the way, said WWE is too big to fail. And I agree with them, and I agreed with them on their videos. They are absolutely too big to fail right now with no competition. Some people on Twitter have called WWE a monopoly of the wrestling business. Is that why All In was revolutionary? Folks, the only way Vince McMahon and WWE are going to have a threat is if a billionaire gets involved, like Ted Turner once did. A billionaire puts his money in the pot, but lets the wrestling minds do their thing. Like Mark Cuban working with Billy Corgan, NWA, and Ring of Honor, and maybe some New Japan, making like a super promotion, like a Voltron. We all know what Voltron is, right? Like a Voltron wrestling promotion. This might actually hold some water against WWE, but we will see. Movie of the week time. I'm getting sleepy. Probably we'll be doing a lot of horror movies September through October because I'm an October baby, October 30th, and I really love this time of year coming up, the fall. Football, Halloween. Oh, it's such good times. So Quentin Tarantino, and I might have showed this movie before. I can't remember. The original, From Dusk Till Dawn. You have a beautiful Salma Hayek. Just a very little part in it, but damn, it's a good one. Danny Trejo's in there. Everybody knows who Danny Trejo is. Juliette Lewis. Quentin Tarantino's actually in this movie, not just directing it, with Robert Rodriguez, by the way, co-director. George Clooney and Harvey Keitel. And it's From Dusk Till Dawn for a reason. Outlaw, criminal type movie turned into horror flick. And as you can see, if you haven't seen it before, I don't want to spoil it. Because when I first watched it in the theater with my dad so many years ago, I went in thinking, oh, look at this action gun-like outlaw movie. And then it turned into what it turned into. I was like, wow. Wow, this actually has two, disc 1 and disc 2. So there must be some extra features on this. But that's the movie of the week. You can never go wrong with a Tarantino and Rodriguez flick. And the fact that this was one of Clooney's big breakout movies, because he did TV. He used to be in the Roseanne TV series. But, a little bit of Harvey Keitel, Quentin Tarantino, Juliette Lewis, Danny Trejo, Salma Hayek. Hell of a movie. Watch it. And if you do see it and you've never seen it before, come and tweet me. Let's talk about it. The sequels are all eh. The series on Netflix is eh. But the movie, classic forever. So that's it. I'm drinking my New York Seltzer water. They don't pay me. This is one of my favorite carbonated beverages. That's pretty much it this week, folks. WWE. Event after event after event, on top of 5 hours of television. And I don't even watch NXT, or it would be 6. And it's exhausting. And just slow your roll, WWE. Focus on each show each week. Hype from one Raw to the next. On your go-home Raw, then take it home. for the pay-per-view. Don't go 2 or 3 pay-per-views ahead. I know you're too big, like Aaron Rift said. You're too big to fail, but come on. You're desensitizing fans, and you doing the things that you're doing, basically being like a conglomerate, a monopoly. You're making the hardcore fans think that the in-ring 30-minute matches with false finishes and high spots are what's entertaining. Remember when that stuff used to be just the special? Like, you'd work all those weeks of watching Raw or SmackDown for a good, solid match at a pay-per-view. Sometimes you only got great 5-star type matches once every 3 months, every 3 pay-per-views. And when you finally saw them, it felt worth it. But during the, in between, you were still entertained by sports entertainment. Slow your roll, WWE. Let's focus on Hell in a Cell first. Roman's still going to be the champ. I'm calling Samoa Joe. And, of course, since they're in a Hell in a Cell match, I'm going to say Randy Orton's going to beat Jeff Hardy. So let's see if I can get all 3 of those right. Knowing my luck, I'll probably go 1 for 3. And then I'll probably get screwed in the Monday Night Football games in my fantasy leagues and end up winning only 2 out of 4 leagues or 1 out of 4 leagues. But that's it, folks. This is Virtue's Brand of Wrestling. Follow me on Twitter at NoDQ_Virtue. You can also catch me on Facebook, nodq.com/Virtue with a small v. But I am Virtue here for BigVito.com and the BIg Vito Brand. Thank you for watching, and we will see you next time. Hey, it's Virtue here from BigVito.com and the BIg Vito Brand, and I wanted to let everybody know, in case you already didn't, go to ProWrestlingTees.com and search Big Vito, because you will see a spread of T-shirts that are must-owned. And you know what? Here is one as an example. So I hope Noel puts this on the end of some of my videos, because it really makes me look like a big deal that I'm doing commercials for Big Vito's T-shirts on ProWrestlingTees.com. But seriously, folks, you want to represent the Pavarotti of hard shots to the body? Seriously, no joke. You want to get color with the Big Vito and the Big Vito Brand? Head on over to PWT. Everybody knows it as ProWrestlingTees.com, and search Big Vito, and you will be able to choose your size. And you know what? I believe once in a while they run promotions and sales, so you always want to look out for that. But anyway, I am Virtue from BigVito.com and the Big Vito Brand. Thank you for listening to me.